When you think of 598, what comes to mind? Just shout it out. When you see that on the screen, what comes to mind? A date. What else? Well, if you're originally from Chicago like me, about September, baseball playoff time, it's the Cubs record, 5 wins and 98 losses. Or it could be the price of a gallon of gas in Chicago. But May of 1998 was the worst month in my life that I'd like to share with you. 3 things happened that altered the trajectory of my being, my life, the decisions that I made. You see, I was on that hedonistic treadmill. I was addicted to more stuff. I lived by the moniker and the bumper sticker, he who dies with the most toys wins. But then my dad fell out of a 3rd floor window to his death. I was riddled with a terrible alcohol and cocaine problem. And then May 18th, 1998, in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, St. Alexis Medical Center, Doctors Building 2, 5th floor, Suite 537 at 1:18 p.m., Dr. Jeffrey Bacall's office, I was told, Doug, you've got cancer. My reaction to the big C word was the big D word of denial. That happens to somebody else. You see, I'm a high-flying sales and marketing executive in the technology space. I've got a big house, a nice car, a smoking hot wife. Life's good. And then the universe whacks me up the head with 2 of these. It's going to happen to you. A 598, maybe not exactly, but it's going to happen to you. You don't get out of this journey we call life and living without some pain. Fortunately, it got me off that hedonistic treadmill, and in the universe and my higher power altered my rudder in the right direction. As I recognized the only way out is through. And the power of attitude and choice and the people I hung around with that built me up and did not tear me down was impactful, and it still impacts me today. And even though it was the most horrendous 30 to 180 days that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, each and every one of you will go through a 598 in some way, shape, form, or fashion, because you don't get out of this journey we call life and living without life happening. But what happened to me is I got involved in a cancer survivors group, and I made some of the deepest, most meaningful relationships outside of my immediate family. I was fortunate enough to survive. Some were not. We had researchers, MDs, PhDs affixed and attached to our group as we went through, and they were doing a research paper, and they found out a number of things that I believe are impactful to you as BSU Broncos and for your football team and for the 2019 season. Factors cancer survivors cite in preventing a recurrence. Number 1, got to be a little lucky. Sometimes I'd rather take luck than skill or brains. Sometimes luck is on our side. There's a lot of uncertainty. 5% of the time, we just don't know. Complementary therapies, rolling the dice on some complementary therapies, stress reduction, exercise, diet, what we put in our minds, our hearts, and our mouth. Prayers. See, I was an eye doctor, not literally, but figuratively. I suffered from the terminal memes, and everything was about me. But it so is not about me. And it's really not about you, it's about us. It's about the collective strength of the individual team members and the excellence that you bring for an overarching execution on the field. Got outside of myself, connected with something larger than me, however you define it. But getting outside of me was so helpful. Reducing my stress to the best of my ability, exercising my body, my mind, and my heart, living a more healthy lifestyle, diet. How many of you just sat through that awesome nutrition presentation? Diet is a key component, not only the sustenance, the food, the vegetables, what we put in our mouth, but what we put in our head, who we hang with, what we listen to, what we read. Because who you are Speak so loudly, of course I can't hear what you're saying. The essence of you, because you are ultimately defined by the 5 people you spent the most time with. The essence of you is ultimately defined by the 5 people you spend the most time with. Number 1, a positive attitude. If it can do this for me and for cancer, in addition to these other factors, what can it do for you 2019 when your season starts here in about, what, Taylor, 30 days? Less? 31 days? The power of 100%, the power of 1%, the power of attitude, the power of choice, the power of effort.